Today we will start with solvent effects in UV spectroscopy. That is, polarity of solvent, how it shifts the position of an absorption band either towards longer wavelength or towards the shorter wavelength, depending upon the type of electronic transitions involved. In this chapter, we are generally doing these two transitions, n pi star and pi to pi star transitions only. And now we will study in detail how solvent affects these type of electronic transitions when polarity of solvent is changed. That is, so let's start with first is n pi star transition. It means non-bonding electrons gets excited to higher pi antibonding molecular orbitals. In this type, that is, suppose we take this carbonyl compound C double bond O has two lone pairs. These are non-bonding electrons. These electrons get excited to higher pi star orbital. That is, this one electron is shown excited to this carbon. That is, it has excited to higher pi star bonding orbital. So in this, if we see this here, the electrons are present on the oxygen. So this bond is more polar. This is ground state and it is more polar. But when the electron is excited to this, then the polarity will decrease, or say it is less polar as compared to the starting carbonyl compound. So ground state is more polar and excited state is less polar. Here these are centers, positive and negative, and here this polarity will decrease. So when this happens, this we shows the in non-polar solvent. This is non-bonding orbital and this is pi star orbital. When the solvent polarity increases, then when polarity increases, as we know, the ground state is more polar. Ground state is more polar, so it will get more stabilized. So when polarity of solvent is increased, this state, which is more stable, ground state, will get more stabilized and its energy will decrease too much. While on the pi star, which is less polar, it is less polar, and in this the stability will decrease to less extent. That is, this is to less extent, and here this level is decreased too little. So if we compare now, there is an energy difference between this is delta E1. Suppose here it is delta E2, then these two delta E2 is greater than delta E1. That is, when the polarity of solvent increases, then this difference increases. When this difference increases, it means the wavelength will be shorter, or when the polarity of solvent increases, the energy is more, energy for absorption is more, or the molecule absorbs lower wavelength. That is, when a group is more polar in ground state, then n electrons in the ground state are stabilized relative to the excited state due to hydrogen bonding or dipole-dipole interactions with the polar solvent. Therefore, energy difference between excited state and ground state increases, and hence absorption shifts towards the shorter wavelength. So this is important. That is, in n to pi star transitions, the energy difference between excited state and ground state increases with the polarity of solvent. When the polarity of solvent increases, this difference increases. That is, absorption takes place at the lower wavelength, or we say this absorption shifts towards the shorter wavelength. Example, in acetone, when in acetone it is dissolved in non-polar solvent, that is N-hexane. In non-polar solvent N-hexane, then the absorption takes place at 279 nanometer. But when it is dissolved in a polar solvent, then the wavelength becomes shorter, or the in various solvents we can see N-hexane, which is non-polar, it is 279 nanometer. When it is chloroform, that is, the solvents become polar, then it is 277. When it becomes still polar, that is, it is ethyl alcohol, it has 279. It is still polar because alkyl group is smaller, so it has more stronger hydrogen bonding and attractions, so it is 270. And when it is most polar solvent, that is water, then it becomes 264.5. That is, as the polarity of the solvent increases, the wavelength becomes shorter and shorter, or the shift absorption band shift towards the shorter wavelength. Similarly, if we note an pi to pi star transition, that is in this, that is take a example. This is alkene. In this, the double bond is shown as the 2 electrons, and this pi electrons get excited to higher pi star antibonding orbital. That is, this is shown here. It is excited to this. So now here the polar is, a bond is less polar because the electrons are equally distributed. So we can say ground state is non-polar. But in this, the electrons move to one carbon. So as compared to this is more polar, and so we can say excited state is more polar. So in this, if a group is more polar in excited state, then this excited state will get more stabilized in a polar solvent. This level shows it's more stable, while the ground state will be less stable in polar solvent. So its level shows its less stability, and here it shows its more stability, and so it gets lowered in energy. Now if we see the difference between the pi to pi star and ground state in non-polar solvent and in polar solvents. In non-polar solvents the difference is too much, and it is, so if it is suppose delta E1, and in the polar solvent if it is delta E2, we can say that delta E1 is greater than delta E2. So as the polarity of the solvent increases, this difference becomes lesser, so we can say the wavelength becomes longer, so absorption will shift towards the longer wavelength. So this is very important, that is effect of solvent in these two type of transitions, N to pi star transitions and pi to pi star transitions. Both are opposite to one another. So in this example we can say ethene, which is more polar in excited state, and absorption will shift towards a longer wavelength in polar solvent. So next is we will take up some important terms which are used in UV spectroscopy. First is chromophore. Chromophore means, as we see in Greek, chromophorus means color carrier. So any functional group that absorbs the electromagnetic radiations is, irrespective of the fact whether it imparts color or not to the compound, is called chromophore. In generally, previously it was said that if any compound imparts color, then upon radiation, then it is called chromophore. But now it has changed. Now any electromagnetic radiations which is absorbed by a functional group and it imparts color or do not imparts color, that is, it absorbs mainly electromagnetic radiations, then it is a chromophore. Depending upon the absorption, they are of two types, that is chromophores which have double bond, CC double bond, or carbon-carbon triple bond. That is, these are generally pi electrons, and in this there will be pi to pi star electronic transitions. Example, in ethene, that is double bond is present, it shows absorption at 175 nanometer, and it is pi to pi star transition. Similarly, second type of chromophores are in which C double bond O or N double bond N and O2 groups etc. are present, in which non-bonding electrons are also present. So these show N to pi star transitions along with pi to pi star transitions. In this, both types of transitions are shown. Example, if this group is present, it will show absorptions at 190 nanometer due to this transitions, and at 280 transition nanometer due to N to pi star transitions. So the chromophores are any functional groups due to which absorption of electroradiations takes place are called chromophores, and these are of two types. In one, there are only pi to pi star transitions are present, in second both transitions are present, that are also chromophores. So next is auxochromes. What are auxochromes? Auxochromes are the groups which independently do not impart any color to the compound, but along with chromophore they deepen their effects or causes a shift of absorption bond to longer wavelength with a simultaneously increase in intensity of absorption band. So independently, oxochromes do not impart any color, but along with chromophore, they deepen its effect. Example, if we see in benzene, it absorbs at 254 nanometer, but when NH2 group is present, then absorption takes place at 280 nanometers. So this group acts as a oxochrome. It deepens the effect, and the absorption now takes place at 280 nanometer. So NH2 is a oxochrome. So next is bathochromic shift. Bathochromic shift is is also called red shift. It is a shift in which absorption maxima shifts towards longer wavelength. That is, first we see it through a diagram in which we can clearly define the four types of shifts. It is bathochromic shift. Opposite of bathochromic is hypsochromic, and then is hyperchromic shift, and then is hypochromic shift. So these shifts are can be easily defined on the basis of this graph, in which we have taken lambda in nanometers along x-axis and intensity along the y-axis, or say absorption molar extension coefficient, molar absorptivity. In this, so we are starting with bathochromic shift. Bathochromic shift means in which shift absorption shift towards the longer wavelength. Here wavelength is increasing, so the bathochromic shift involves the shift absorption towards the longer wavelength. Hypsochromic will be towards the shorter wavelength, and hyperchromic will be the shift in which wavelength remains the same but intensity of absorption increases, that is epsilon value increases. And hypochromic is in which lambda wavelength remains the same but the intensity decreases, means epsilon value decreases. So we take up one by one. First is bathochromic shift, that is absorption maxima shifts towards the longer wavelength. It is towards the right side, and it can be done by how it takes place. Why bathochromic shift takes place, or why red shift takes place? It can be done by adding a chromophore to carbon-carbon double bond or benzene ring. That is, the chromophore is present, but we are adding oxochrome, that is we are deepening its effects. That is, suppose it is benzene, it absorbs at already 203.5 due to double bonds. Okay, when OH group is attached, then absorption takes place at 210 nanometer, and when amine group is present, then at 230 nanometers. So these OH and NH2 are oxochromes which are added to the benzene ring. So similarly, by conjugation of two chromophores, as we know, double bond absorbs, and suppose there is one double bond in ethene, it absorbs at 175 nanometer, but when one double bond is more added, or conjugation is increased, then it absorbs at 217 nanometer. So there is a increase in lambda due to the presence of conjugation. If one more double bond is added, then it will still increase. So third is by decreasing the polarity of solvent. As we have already seen, when acetone is taken in water, the absorption maxima takes place at 264.5 nanometer, but when it is a non-polar solvent hexane, then it is around 279 nanometer. So by decreasing the polarity, that is, first is polar solvent but second is non-polar, by decreasing the polarity, we have decreased the polarity by replacing water by hexane. By decreasing polarity, the lambda maximum increases, it now becomes 279 nanometer. So these are the three ways by which in bathochromic shift we can shift the absorption maxima towards the longer wavelength, that is by attaching an oxochrome to carbon-carbon double bond, or by conjugation of two chromophores, or by decreasing the polarity of solvent. So next is Hypsochromic shift. Hypsochromic shift means we have now from diagram we have it is opposite of bathochromic, that is decrease in lambda will take place, that is shift of absorption maxima to shorter wavelength. It is also called blue shift, opposite of red shift, and it can be caused by attaching an oxochrome to the carbon double bond O group, that is carbonyl group. If carbonyl group is added, oxochrome is added to carbonyl group, then example in this is carbonyl group. In this one CH3 group is present, the lambda maximum is 293 nanometer, but if one more alkyl group is added, then it decreases to 279 nanometer. And if suppose Cl group is present, that's electron withdrawing group is present, then it still decreases and it becomes 235 nanometers. So by adding oxochromes we can decrease the shift towards the shorter wavelength, that is by adding suppose methyl group, now here is one more methyl group, now here is a Cl group. So second is by increasing polarity of solvent, that is opposite of first. Acetone and hexane, it is non-polar solvent, gives at 279 nanometer, but when water, that polar solvent is used, then it decreases to 264.5 nanometer. Same example can be taken in the both examples definitions. So next is hyperchromic shift effect. Hyperchromic effect is we have seen vertical, that is no increase or decrease in lambda. It leads to increase in intensity, that is it is towards upwards, or molar absorptivity, and it is often accompanied by bathochromic. When bathochromic shift generally takes place, it is also present. Hyperchromic shift also takes place. Intensity also increases. So let us take example in phenol. In phenol, absorption maximum is 210 nanometer. It absorbs at 210 nanometer. But when H positive is removed, that is when it is phenoxide ion, then the lambda increases and it becomes 235 nanometer. That is in this what we are actually seeing is increase in intensity. Intensity is judged from value of epsilon. In this epsilon value is 6200, and in this it has increased and it has become 9400. So we can see that by converting phenol to phenoxide ion or phenate ion, we are able to increase the intensity, and in this the bathochromic shift also takes place, that is slight increase in lambda also takes place. That is, these are the primary bands. If we see secondary bands in this phenol and phenoxide ion, then there is also a increase in value of epsilon, that is intensity, that is 1450 to 2600, and there is also a slight increase in wavelength, that is bathochromic shift and hyperchromic shift takes place side by side. So next is hyperchromic shift. Hyperchromic shift, it leads to decrease in molar absorptivity, that is it is towards downwards, and these are accompanied by hyperchromic effects. And in this, if we take example, suppose it is benzoic acid. In benzoic acid, the absorption takes place at 230 nanometer and epsilon value is 11600, but when it is benzoate ion, in this the lambda value increases, decreases, and the epsilon value also decreases. So it leads to decrease in molar absorptivity. Hyperchromic effect is decrease in molar absorptivity, and this is absorbed in benzoic acid and benzoate ion. It is opposite of phenol and phenate ion. So this is all about the important terms involved in UV spectroscopy. Next we will start with the numericals in UV spectroscopy. Thank you.